Hello and welcome back to Redstone Zero to Hero. Kim right here with another tutorial, and today we're going to talk about clocks. So let's get right to it. Alright, so clocks are pretty simple. They do their little loop, and every time they get to a certain point, they give you an output. They sort of keep the time. Do, 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 do. The easiest way to explain a clock is to show you one in action. So here's one of the earlier clocks. It's just a redstone torch chain. Just a torch loop. Nothing to it. So if I pop this off, you'll see that the torches, here, we get right above it. See how they loop around and turn each other off and back on, and then when that last one at the bottom there is on, it gives us our redstone output. Super simple, nothing to it. All you have to do is block, torch, redstone into the next one. Boom. And you need an odd number of these in order for this to work. If I were to put 6 in a row, they'd just turn each other off, and then they would all be in the right state, and they'd just sit there all perfect and happy. So if we turn that off, all you have to do is input into one of the blocks, or even into one of the pieces of dust, and it'll lock the signal the way it is. So, nothing too much to it. Like I said, this is one of the earlier ones. But they get a little bit more interesting from there. Now, headphone warning, this is going to be loud, potentially. This is a rapid pulsar. So this is a clock, but it's a clock that runs extremely fast. And this actually uses redstone torch burnout mechanics to make this work. Where if a redstone torch gets turned off and back on too many times too quickly, it will burn out and just go dark like it is right now where it's off. It'll burn out for a couple of ticks until it receives a block update, and then it'll go, oh wait, I'm supposed to be on, and it'll kick back on. So if we pop this on, you have been warned. So if you heard that hissing sound, that was the torches burning out. So this is good for anything that you need to pulse extremely fast, you know, a really fast clock, or if you want to put a bunch of these with some doors or trap doors or gates or anything like that under your friend's base to put a noise trap and give them a little prank. Could be funny, or you could, you know, go back to your base and find that they've done something even worse to you. Moving on. Next we have a comparator subtraction clock. This is another really fast clock, and actually this one's a little too fast even for the fence gate I have here. So this uses the subtraction mode on a comparator, and this block is unnecessary. You can have the block or just redstone dust. Doesn't really matter. So if I turn this on, you'll see this isn't moving, but as you can see, it's pulsing. So what's happening here is this is getting 15 power from the lever that's right next to it. So it goes 15 power, and then, here, let's actually pop this on, 14, 13. But you see how it keeps changing. So it goes 15, 14, 13, does subtraction, it goes, wait, that's not right, I'm supposed to be off. So it turns off, which goes 0, 0, 0, and then it goes, wait, no, I'm supposed to be on, and then it goes 15, 14. So you see it loops because it has to rapidly recalculate every time, because as soon as it makes one calculation, it realizes that it needs to change state, which then makes the calculation invalid, recalculates, has to change state, and it keeps doing this cycle. So this one is good for if you've got something that you need another really rapid pulse. It's a little bit smaller in footprint than that. And, yeah, that'll do that one. Next is one of my favorites, the hopper clock. This is a simple hopper clock. So this guy here was my go-to clock for my map building before we had command blocks that were the chain command blocks and the impulse ones, and, you know, you didn't have to have redstone and they could just activate themselves and all that fun stuff. Before that, anytime I needed to regularly, in a pretty fast interval, check for something with a command block, I would use one of these guys. So all this is two hoppers facing into each other with one item in them. And as they pass it back and forth, every time it enters this hopper that has the comparator facing off of it, it takes a redstone output because it goes, wait, there's an item in here, I'm supposed to have a signal of 1, and then it pops that signal out. So if you want to extend this signal further, all you'd have to do is add a repeater after it to extend the 1 signal here into a 15 signal and send it off wherever you need to take it. So next we have the Etho hopper clock. Now go ahead and ignore everything from this redstone repeater to the left here. All of these going on here, ignore those. If you start from the iron block to the iron block, also ignore. Let's just go ahead and get rid of this for now. So from iron block to iron block, that's what you need to pay attention to. So it's basically a beefed up version of the simple one over there. So this one, I've put an entire stack of snowballs. So as they pass back and forth, once one of the hoppers empties, you saw it passed the redstone block back using the inputs. Now this is good because you've got 5 slots worth of space to deal with to really set your clock for however long you want it based on the inventory times from the comparator video. So there's a couple of different ways to take an output off of this. So one way is just off of the dust in the comparator over here would be to just throw that there. So see, with this sort of output, it'll stay on, and then when it changes, it'll tick off for a second. So it'll stay on for almost the entire time until it ticks back. Boom, see how it popped back on. So there's that. Or you can pop it, let's go ahead and put it right here, so that way half of the time of the clock, this will have an output. And you could even do this from either side or both sides if you use some clever repeaters and things like that to keep the signal separate. So you could actually use it as a flip-flop, which is not within the scope of this video. That one I'm going to make a video on later. But as you can see, you can take outputs off of the redstone block as it moves, or I did a 1-tick pulse here. So you can actually change the length of the pulse coming off of it like I do here, instead of having just the base one, which is once again not within the scope of this video, but soon I will be making a video on changing the length of a redstone pulse, so be sure to check that video out when it comes out. All in all, this clock right here is an extremely versatile clock and is useful in a lot of different applications. Next, we've got a couple of minecart clocks. So in this case, we've got a minecart on a track here, and you got a powered rail here in the middle, and then 2 detector rails on either side. And as you can see, once it rolls over them, it takes the signal from them because these guys will output to the redstone dust. And yeah, it's that simple. The last clock that I want to talk about in this video is another minecart clock, and disregard this guy. He's actually in that cart. He's just glitched out at the moment. I'm not sure why he's doing that at the moment. So what it is you've got the powered rail going around to a detector rail, and you can make this as long as you want to really set the time. This used to be one of the better ways of getting an exact amount of time as far before hoppers, to get the clock the exact length you needed it. Now, the reason that I have a villager in the minecart is because minecarts move faster when there's an entity in the actual cart. If I were to take him out and put that minecart on there, it probably wouldn't make this distance. So in a lot of cases without it, I would have put the detector rail right here in the middle, so it would go just right around this little loop. But even then, it was like, go, and then slowly make its way around, go, slowly make its way around. So it wasn't really super good. So, got the job done, but I liked having an entity in it with the slightly longer one to get a more noticeable change in the output. But yeah, it's just the simple little trick, and there's not that much to it. So we had just a short little video here about couple of the different timers, or well, clocks rather, not timers. A couple of the different clocks that we've got, and yeah, there's a couple different methods, couple different ways of getting different outputs and things like that. So lots of options. So if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you really liked it and want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe and get them put in your feed. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.